What's going on, guys? This is John Zakari, and today I want to talk about why I have faith in the upcoming Nintendo Switch. Up to this point, my videos concerning the Switch have been pretty bipartisan, at least I think, looking at the pros and cons. But in this one, I'm looking at the system as optimistically as you'll probably ever see from me, at least. Now yeah, as I've stated in the past, the big selling point is portability. You can take the system on the go, a feature not offered on other consoles, yada yada yada. Yeah, it's pretty awesome, but what I want to focus on here is what I feel really determines the success or failure of a system. Games. And more specifically, I'm talking about actual Switch releases. I know there's been some not so hot news about the Virtual Console being another trickling out sort of situation, which I hate, believe me. But to me, things like the Virtual Console are supplemental. New titles are what are actually going to sell people on a new console. Fancy that. Let's start with the launch, which is about a week from now. While, yeah, I've said there aren't many games that are going to be there on day one, we have frickin' Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. One of my most anticipated games of not just 2017, but was also among my most anticipated of 2016 and 2015. Yeah, we've been waiting for this game for a long time. Despite the delays, it's nice to have such a heavy hitter on day one. I mean, I can't remember the last launch game I was this excited for. Halo was a launch game that did blow me away, but I wasn't really anticipating it. I just bought it as the big original Xbox game on launch. Perhaps Mario 64 with the N64. I do remember watching ads for it as a kid with the same level of focus I'd watch an actual TV show or movie. Anyway, Zelda is huge, and speaking of Mario Odyssey is this year's big holiday game. I mean, tell me that game doesn't look badass. And it's kind of going back to that Mario 64 / Mario Sunshine sort of open world type play. I just cannot wait to play that. And Xenoblade 2, hopefully it will remain a 2017 title. I get a bit nervous about and stuff like that, but X was one of my favorite games we saw throughout the Wii U's entire life. But we didn't see it until more towards the end. Here we'll be getting a Xenoblade title early, and hopefully set a high bar for what seems like a fair amount of JRPGs that are going to be making their way to the Switch. But what I really want to focus on is my hopes going forward with the Switch. With the announcement that we're getting games like Fire Emblem on the new system, I'm hoping we eventually see this thing phase out the 3DS. I know there's been rumors that the 3DS might have a successor, but I'm hoping that's not the case. I know it would sting after building up such a large install base, but the system had a good run, and could you imagine all of the development focus that has gone into the 3DS being aimed at the Switch? I mean, if all focus from Nintendo and their partners goes into this one system rather than being stretched across two, I mean, we can probably kiss the lacking number of game releases problem goodbye. Because the 3DS is seeing a regular release of high quality titles. Let's get that stuff over to the Switch. I mean, games like Kirby. I bet there's people out there who don't know we've been seeing a steady flow of kick-ass Kirby games over recent years because they've been on the 3DS. And of course, Rainbow Curse is the one they chose to give Wii U owners. Ugh, get the good ones over here. As far as multiplayer, Nintendo is clearly putting a big focus on the online capabilities of the Switch, and we're getting games like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Splatoon 2 pretty early, which will really allow us to put the online through its paces. But there is no game I want to see more on the Switch when it comes to multiplayer than Monster Hunter. If you followed me for a while, you know how much I loved Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. In fact, I've credited it with kind of being a test for the Switch concept, as there was a 3DS version of the game as well as a Wii U version, and you could transfer data between the versions to take your experiences outside the home. Now, it was kind of clunky transferring data back and forth, and the 3DS version was a bit watered down compared to the Wii U one, but it was cool nonetheless. This was one of the titles I could see my friends and I really taking advantage of the system's LAN functions with. Yeah, I totally see a few of us just sitting in someone's basement for hours, taking down these behemoths. We know it's going to happen, Capcom, so just announce the damn thing already.
But like any story, the past needs resolution. What's past is prologue.
When it comes to Metroid, this is just a touchy subject for me. I mean, in my opinion, our favorite bounty hunter, Samus, has just been treated unfairly. Plainly unfairly. I mean, seriously, there was no new major entry in the series for the Wii U, and the last major entry was the incredible letdown that was Other M. That was back in 2010, by the way. Yeah, we're heading towards a decade between major entries in this franchise, and don't even mention Federation Force. I'll slap you if you think putting Metroid on a title like that makes any difference. I mean, can anyone name me a character on the level of Samus that Nintendo has treated this badly? But now I think is the time. Nintendo, you want to show us that you're listening to fans, you want to give them what they want. I want to see a Metroid blowout for the Switch. You might say, well, do you want a first-person game like Prime or a classic side-scroller? F that, both. It's been too long at this point to only appease one audience or the other. Sure, I'm going to pop for a new Metroid reveal regardless of the game's style, but I think to make up for lost time, Nintendo fans deserve not one, but two Metroid games on the Switch, and I honestly see it becoming a reality. I don't think this is crazy. I think even Nintendo has to understand that when they do bring it back, they have to do so in a big way. That takes care of Metroid, so that's gotta be it, right? Can anything be as hype as a new entry in that series? In my opinion, yes. Let's close with what I think should be, the biggest system seller for the Switch. Surprise, it's the biggest system seller for the 3DS and Nintendo's other past handhelds, Pokémon. Ever since I was a kid, I dreamed of a massive open-world core Pokémon title for home consoles. Ironically, it looks like when we finally get this, it may be on a system that we can take on the go anyway, but I digress. I mean, come on, a large-scale game, I'm talking multiple times what we've been getting on current handhelds. Yeah, it'd be cool if we got that rumored Sun and Moon port, but I'm talking about something built from the ground up with the Switch in mind. HD graphics, multiplayer, trading, all the bells and whistles. I mean, who wouldn't at least be enticed by this? Pokemon has always been a mega franchise for Nintendo's handhelds, and Pokemon Go, despite its faults, showed how broad of an audience you can attract with a Pokemon experience. If Pokemon is handled right for the Switch, I honestly think this could be more than just a system seller. This could be the game that makes the gaming populace at large acknowledge Nintendo as a major player again. So yeah, I think there's a lot of potential for the Switch, and I'm talking pretty realistically here. I don't think anything I've discussed here is at all out of the question. Hopefully Nintendo takes advantage of their fresh start with the Switch and delivers us some amazing games. We know they're capable of it. And with that, this video's a wrap. Let me know if you're feeling optimistic about the Switch. Is this Nintendo's rise back to power? And what games do you think they need to give us for that to be the case? Or are we looking at another Wii U? As always, I'm John Zakari, and thanks for watching.